What's up, guys? Welcome back to Marvelous Videos. Now that we've set foot into December and Christmas is right around the corner, it's the perfect time to get cozy and watch some Christmassy type films with the fam. Except I'm sure we all get bored with the happy-sappy rom-coms, so why not go on a Krampus marathon? Yup, that's right. That's why today we're taking you through every single Krampus movie ever, or at least the ones folks know about. This German folklore horned beast has terrified kids for centuries, and honestly, we're all for it. So grab some cocoa and some cookies, and let's get started. Rare Exports, A Christmas Tale, 2010. Yeah, we know this isn't the OG Krampus himself, but don't you worry, we'll get into that soon. We wanted to start this list by introducing the genre of the not-so-nice Santa Claus, and Rare Exports, A Christmas Tale is exactly that. Basically, this Finnish dark comedy revolves around an excavation team that digs into a mountain in Lapland to a mysterious fell called Korva Tunturi. Naturally, the American and British team is simply looking to excavate, plunder, and peace out as soon as possible. Locals warn them of something far more sinister, a malevolent Santa Claus buried deep within who preys on children. Surprise, surprise, once they dig this creature up, children suddenly start going missing. That's not all. They've also got to watch out for Santa's elves who will go to any lengths to free him. And you know the film is good when they foreshadow future events with cool little details. If you notice carefully, within the first 5 minutes, there's an explosion on the mountain and the resulting smoke takes the form of 2 horns. You see what they're there. This one's kind of a must-watch. Audiences have given it really good reviews, and the film finds a balance between horror that gives kids nightmares and implicit comedy that grown-ups can appreciate. So, what are you waiting for? Go check this one out and let us know what you think. Krampus, 2015. Okay, we're getting into the good stuff now. This one's the big daddy of modern Krampus cinema. In fact, it's probably the most popular, widely known Krampus movie out there. What we loved about it was how relatable it feels, other than the Austrian-Bavarian demon, obviously. The film revolves around a child who's simply fed up with his dysfunctional family. Initially, it was just his parents, his sister, and his grandmother Omi, which meant some amount of squabbling, but Max was still writing letters to Santa Claus like any child his age. And then came the extended family. Honestly, he didn't even need to unleash Krampus because the family was chaotic enough. But little Max lost all his festive spirit, any faith he had in Christmas, and accidentally summoned the horned creature, and boy oh boy does all hell break loose. But hey, we've all felt like Max before, I'm sure, and that's what's wonderful about the film. It will scare you, but it'll also make you laugh and have fun with the family. Also, fun fact, the film was released on the 4th of December, so it coincides with Krampusnacht, a traditional Austrian festival held on the 5th of December that celebrates Krampus coming to punish naughty children. A Christmas Horror Story, 2015. If just one storyline wasn't enough action for, Christmas Horror Story has got you covered. This film is actually an anthology of 4 interwoven films that pack enough horror fun for a lifetime. I mean, it's got everything, from ghosts to changelings, and of course, our beloved Krampus, and even a Santa vs. Krampus face-off. All of these tales are being told by one particularly festive radio host. Except there's a twist, of course, and fortunately for you, we're not going to be revealing it here. And guess what? The film is also linked to some other well-known titles. The fictional town in which the story takes place is called Bailey Downs, and it's also where the Ginger Snaps films take place, as well as the name of the suburb where Allison from Orphan Black lives. Well, this film won't give you the whole folklore deep dive. It's perfect for those who just want a Christmas chill down their spine, keeping things light. I mean, the film literally closes with the statement, no elves were harmed in the making of this film. Red 1, 2024. Red 1 is directed by Jake Kasdan, which means you already know you're in for a hell of a ride. This one's a full-on action comedy with the likes of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, The Rock, and Chris Evans, Captain America himself, in a Christmas film. It also has J.K. Simmons, Lucy Liu, Kiernan Shipka, and so many others. As you might expect from any big-budget film, we're stepping into controversial territory and will most definitely lose the plot entirely. So, what's the premise, you ask? Well, Santa Claus, whose codename is, you guessed it, Red 1, gets kidnapped, and so the North Pole's head of security, Dwayne Johnson, is tasked with rescuing. You've also got Chris Evans as the bounty hunter and genius hacker who joins The Rock in the rescue mission. Let me tell you, things get crazy, and we mean over-the-top crazy. There's so much lore and mythic family drama that it's honestly a little hard to keep up with, but hey, Who wouldn't want to watch Chris Evans and The Rock? The film also introduces an interesting mythical creature called Grilla, who was an ogre with 13 sons and would ask for charity. Of course, refusing her had consequences you wouldn't want to deal with. Krampus Origins, 2018. Stepping down from big-budget action to low-budget horror, we land on Krampus Origins from 2018. This one goes straight down the grim, atmospheric path. Set during the First World War, a bunch of American soldiers discover a mysterious artifact that can summon ancient evil. Then, the film fast-forwards as the artifact ends up in an orphanage run by a grieving widow. To no one's surprise, one of the kids gets a hold of the artifact and accidentally summons Krampus. Whoops. Apparently, the film was aiming for a Harry Potter meets the Goonies style tone, but it wildly missed that mark. Most critics don't even consider it a true Krampus film, considering the abysmally low Krampus screen time and the lack of lore buildup. If you and your friends love watching and criticizing low-budget films, this one might be right up your alley. Krampus Unleashed, 2016. Next up, we've got another low-budget horror film that's so bad that it's almost good. Well, you gotta watch it and let us know. So what's the premise? No more family drama. Krampus Unleashed drops us in the middle of a desert. Crew of fortune hunters digging for long-buried treasure accidentally unearth a cursed summoning stone. Yup, it's the same old artifact stone route. That stone is tied to a century-old outlaw's curse, and disturbing it awakens Krampus, who's actually a pretty scary demonic and bloodthirsty force. In fact, the creature actually leans into the gore and practical effects. Other than that, the reviews are pretty unfortunate, but hey, here's some trivia for you guys. Krampus Unleashed, being the second of 3 Krampus movies written by Robert Conway, actually features his earlier film too. Around 25 minutes into the film, when the family is watching some Christmas movie on TV, it's actually Krampus the Reckoning from 2015. Advertising, we guess? Mother Krampus 2, Sleigh Ride, 2018. Okay, now this one's a curveball. We're sure most of you haven't heard of Mother Krampus before, but if you have, welcome to a weirdly elite club. If you're like us and love a little slasher action, then this one's a must-watch. The story revolves around 4 young women in Cleveland, Ohio, who are about to finish their holiday season mandatory 30-day community service requirement. With just 1 night remaining, they've got to make in-home visits to the elderly and less fortunate individuals as part of their service. On their final assignment, they visit what seems like a harmless older woman who welcomes them in her home. We all know what's about to happen next. This ain't no usual woman, and there's something far darker and more sinister at play. The women are picked off one by one, and suffice to say that Mother Krampus is truly mothering in the film. With a budget of less than $2,000, you can imagine what the end product looks like. If you're looking for a film with laughable acting that you can make fun of, this one should be top of your list. Granny Krampus, 2024. And we continue with the female Krampus trope with one of the most recent entries on our list, Granny Krampus from 2024. We dive right back into the family reunion gone wrong storyline as this holiday horror revolves around an estranged family coming together for a final Christmas reunion at their old family home, probably to reconcile past differences and reconnect. Things rarely go that smoothly. As they gather under one roof, tension simmers, secrets come to the surface, their grief and unresolved conflicts set up the perfect stage for some Krampus action. Enter Frau Perchta, aka Granny Krampus, who's all ready to met out some punishment. The film really tries its best to blend psychological horror with slasher and family drama vibes. While the tension building and even some of the acting isn't half bad, the pacing might just bore you to death. Our recommendation? Watch this one with friends who will keep you entertained throughout. Krampus, The Return, 2022. Now, this standalone Krampus film tries to bring a little mystery into the picture. Krampus the Return, also known as Return of Krampus, revolves around a woman named Lisa who's haunted by the mysterious death of her brother as Christmas looms closer. Years ago, he had simply vanished under very strange circumstances during the holiday season, so naturally, driven by her guilt and grief, she decides to return to their hometown to dig up the truth. And of course, she enlists her friends to go with her. Smart move. As they venture into the past, though, they realize that her brother's disappearance might have been the work of Christmas demon Krampus. Or you know it, this mystery horror turns into a slasher. This one's, again, one of those so bad it's kinda good films. They even have a real Krampus, no CGI, just a dude in a rubber suit. Was it good? Not at all. Was it hilariously bad and thus kinda worth watching? Absolutely. Krampus, The Reckoning, 2015. And we're back with another entry in the Robert Conway Krampus trilogy. With Krampus the Reckoning, we once again have a little child at the center of it all. This time, we've got young Zoe who has lost her parents and is now subject to the abuse of her adoptive guardians. But guess what? She's got an imaginary friend that's actually ancient. Naturally, all her grief and anger leads her to unleash Krampus on a small town to take revenge. Not just on her abusive guardians, but on anyone who's tried to harm an innocent soul. While watching The Reckoning, you forget it's a Christmas film entirely. There's no holiday cheer here, just hardcore horror. Now, in all honesty, the low budget and cheap creature effects make this film an absolute nightmare to watch, but hey, the trilogy will complete without it. Twas the Night, 2024. Yet another film that tries to lean into the whole anthology vibe but fails horribly. Twas the Night revolves around Maya, who's out here telling the tales of Christmas horror. She wants to reveal the terrifying side of Christmas rather than the same old heartwarming stories, and hey, we agree. Soon, you're deep diving into the myths of Jack Frost, the Gingerbread Man, and Krampus. However, don't expect much depth. After all, this isn't a subtle folklore horror, but more of a chaotic anthology horror vibe with multiple urban legend monsters all under a single roof. Hey, it's not all bad. It has some fun punchy scares, some horror action, and a bunch of villains in the same room. It's not perfect, but come on, give it a chance and let us know just how bad it is. Krampus, the Devil Returns, 2016. We're back with a mystery. Krampus, the Devil Returns is all about a former police officer, Jeremy Duffin, who went into a sort of self-imposed exile after his wife's death and his daughter's disappearance 5 years ago. However, he's once again at the center of the action as two other police officers need his help solving a string of cases of disappearing and missing children. Naturally, hoping to find some answers about his daughter and what actually happened to her, agreed to join them. Does he finally manage to end the nightmare for both himself and the town's residents? Well, you gotta watch the film and find out, but fair warning, it's a pretty bad watch. The acting is terrible, the script is no better, but it's perfect if you're looking for a low-budget film to laugh at. Mother Krampus, aka 12 Deaths of Christmas, 2017. This British horror film once again goes back to the folklore surrounding Frau Perkta, who's a witchy figure said to roam during the Christmas season, punishing or taking misbehaving children. The story is set in the small, quiet town of Belgrave, where many years ago, first in 1921 and again in 1992, children mysteriously disappeared in the local woods. You might expect, the townspeople find someone probably innocent to blame. They blame and then lynch Molly Fletcher, who before dying curses the town, warning them that a vengeance-seeking spirit, Frau Perkta, would return and take revenge on the descendants of those who wronged her. Well deserved, we'd say. 25 years later, the nightmare starts up again as children get abducted. We must mention, this film really leans into the gore with some gruesome scenes of children and adults being abducted, tortured, and even dismembered. Damn, we weren't familiar with their game. Overall, the poor acting and weak script writing lets the whole film down. Nonetheless, some reviewers call it worth a good laugh. Counts for something, right? Krampus, the Christmas Devil, 2015. Hey, Jeremy the cop is back, except it's a completely different Jeremy, or maybe not. This time he's looking to solve the case of the disappearing children to make sense of his own past. You see, Jeremy had been kidnapped when he was a child, and ever since, he's been searching for his kidnap. So this was the perfect chance to find the missing kids and also his childhood nightmare. But of course, it won't be easy, since his kidnapper is none other than the ancient Yule-tide monster, Krampus, brother of Saint Nick, the punisher of children. As it turns out, he does indeed have a daughter who might be the next victim, so stakes are high with this one. As much as the film tries, it eventually ends up in B-movie horror territory, which isn't all that bad. After all, B-movies do have their own established fan following. Yeah, the acting is bad and the production is shot to hell, but I just end up having a good time nonetheless. Krampus vs. Bigfoot, 2021. With Krampus vs. Bigfoot, or rather Bigfoot vs. Krampus, we enter pure B-movie insanity. We mean it. This one's a horror mashup for the ages. Lucifer, yes, the Lord of Darkness himself, awakens from the depths of hell and summons the big dog Krampus to terrorize the remaining survivors in a post-apocalyptic universe. Except there's only one thing standing in Krampus's way, and that's Bigfoot. You know, that's not a sentence I ever thought I would say out loud, let alone record for a video. Bigfoot isn't even alone. It's joined by the survivors, along with Callie and Van Helsing. What an insanely weird combination of heroes, right? Guess what? The film is so ridiculous that people actually loved it. Some even called it the most ridiculously hilarious and awesome Christmas-themed film ever created. Why don't you guys check it out and let us know if you agree. Vikings vs. Krampus, 2020. Last but not least, we're ending on another insane banger. Is it Christmas related? Not really. But will we still watch it during the holiday season? Most definitely. Now, this one gets a little confusing, but Vikings vs. Krampus from 2020 is also often listed as Pagan Warrior, released in 2019. Regardless of which listing you find, it'll all be the same movie, so don't worry. In this film, a group of 5 Vikings come together to invade a Saxon castle and kill the king. They even successfully slaughter many. The king is saved by a couple of witches. Naturally, these guys decide to call upon Krampus, who will devil revenge for their families. Now, some of the dialogue in this film is straight awful. Yes, the narrative somehow drags, but as one fan perfectly put it, if you're a fan of bad cinema, this one's definitely good for a few laughs. Honestly, couldn't agree more. Marvelous verdict! So, there you have it. Every single Krampus movie, or at least most of them, are these films perfect? Hell no, but it's Christmas time. Who doesn't want to dip their toes in some Krampus marathons, especially with family and friends? If you're looking for a midnight horror binge, unleash the Krampus. And children, always remember, Santa isn't the only one watching you all year, so beware and be on your best behavior. Unfortunately, that's all we got for you this time, so don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed this content. Otherwise, we'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.